Hey guys and girls. So yeah, it's been a pretty interesting week. Some loads of positions posted in terms of in the group. Like I think the total so far is at about 45R. Unfortunately for me, I've been on the right end of one of them and the wrong end of like two of them. So sometimes you pick the winners and sometimes you pick the losers. Fortunately for me, it's been kind of picking the losers this week, but there's some exciting stuff coming up in the markets, and we'll kind of get straight to it. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to be looking at is Euro AUD. Been absolutely nailing this for the past 2 weeks now. All the big moves on the long entries. So nailed one here, nailed one here, and also nailed one here. Although it missed my limit order before rise, kind of going up to the take profit target. Now, with Euro AUD, we can see that there's a key level here on the 4 hour, and that's realistically going to be the next target for buyers to get up to, and then we're going to reevaluate from there. We can be looking at this kind of second area of liquidity, which is one of the second touch of the trend line, but it's a very, very strong level, this level right here. Okay, so this is going to be our next, this is going to be the main consideration. If we also invert this, we can see that we've got head and shoulders, an inverted head and shoulders appearing on this trade here. So really, this is going to be a really, really good trade. I'm very, very interested in getting in at this level, considering how much price has been struggling to break above it, and now we've break and closed, and we might even close out for the day above it. If we close above it on the daily, this is all, this is going to be go, and we'll get a really, really nice position on this. So we've also kind of had something similar on EURNZD, and been nailing these pivot points. Unfortunately, I got taken out of break even today on the trade, but on two positions, taken out break even from this kind of little this wick here, which is my own bad. But we've been seeing just this kind of this trend down, and although price is really rejecting it to start with, we're now starting to see price try and break above it. So what we'll probably see is we will probably see price break out of it and then come back down and retest this level here before moving to the upside, which is where buyers are then going to test this level where sellers are very interested. Hopefully what we do see is we see a consolidation around that level, and price then manages to finally break above it, and we push to the upside, because we had a very, very weak opportunity. Price really did try last week, but it wasn't able to do it. So really interesting stuff here on EURNZD, and it obviously follows Euro AUD as well in terms of what we're looking for when we're looking for longs. There is a slight conflict of interest. So when I trade pairs, Euro AUD or EUROCAD, I like to see some confluence on the Great British Pound as well. Now I'm seeing something a little bit different here on the pound at the moment. We've got a very, very strong uptrend, but price is becoming slightly exhausted. We tapped into this level a few times, and price is now consolidating along this trend line, which is often a bad sign. So if we see the structure shift on Great British Pound AUD, I'll be looking for shorts. I'll be looking for shorts to be able to come down, and I'll only be looking to take out at this level. I won't be interested to go down the full way, because obviously we the bias is long. We're not going to get down all the way. We're going to really be looking at this level, or maximum where this kind of liquidity is lying here before we move to the upside. It's been a little bit different with Great British Pound AUD compared to, so we can have a look here. Actually, we'll put it on. I'll put Euro AUD on. It's been a little bit different with Euro AUD in comparison to Great British Pound AED. It's been, you know, Euro AED was falling a lot quicker, or a lot. Great British Pound AED fell and then just went sideways for quite some time. So we've been accumulating for quite some time. Before we're kind of looking to break to the upside, whereas Euro AED, you can just see we were on a strong downtrend and then we've started trending upwards, although they are kind of trending up at the same time. The only difference is if you look at Euro AED, you look at the position where it is now in confluence with Great British Pound AED, there is a big difference. So hopefully Great British Pound AED is just trailing behind. That's what I'm looking for. I'm hoping it's just trailing behind, which will give us a way to get into the market if, for example, if we've missed it. And this kind of brings me on to the next pair that I'm looking at. So, as I said, EURNZD, definitely interested in this pair. Absolutely devastated I got stopped out at break even today. But what will probably happen is in swaps, we will probably come down to this level here. So price will come down to this level here, and then it will just be buys. What usually happens when we're looking for longs on EURNZD is when swaps occurs, it comes down quite aggressively as well, sometimes as much as 0.25%, and then it starts moving to the upside. So we're going to be looking for price to come down and then just move up and move to the upside during swaps. So kind of break that level, break out of this kind of, this market structure, which is making lower lows and, higher low. Look for it to start changing market structure before we're able to get into this position here, which will be a very, very strong position. So yeah, but with Great British, and then what we'll do is we'll move on to Great British Pound NZD. Now, yet again, this is giving me a completely different vibe to what EURNZD is. Okay, we've had this higher time frame trend line. The trend line has broke, and we, essentially what I'm waiting for is a market structure shift to be able to look to get into a short. Although we are instilling we are consolidating along this line here. We are still in bullish market structure. So we do have the same opportunity which we had on EURNZD earlier. And that is really just going to be a break of this trend line. So where price is consolidating, we're here. Break of this trend line, a retest of maybe this market structure here before making a move to the upside. So we've got two kind of options. We're in no man's land right now, but there are some options to get into this position moving forward. And hopefully, realistically, this would be if we do manage to get into this position here. Hopefully, what we're going to be looking at is a decent position where maybe price even just continues to move to the upside. Sorry, I'm playing basketball. So we're in no man's land right now. If we break below this level, we go short. And if we break above this market structure here, which is actually in line with this, I guess, we're going to look to go long. And there's, you can just look to realistically go to the top of that take profit target. You can look to go here, this level. So there's a few different entries or a few different levels to it. As I say, there are a few concerns, like we've got this double top here and stuff. Buyers seem to be a little bit exhausted, so perhaps we need to come back down to this high time frame trend line. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens when Great British Pound NZD. Like you can see here, for example, where it's been in, we've had that same pattern, we've had that same double top, and you sit there and you think, okay, price is going to move to the downside, and it just doesn't. It's just exploded. It's exploded up. So. Yeah, it's worth just keeping an eye on this. I'm really, really interested in it. What we'll probably do is we'll probably see the same thing happen again. So this comes down on swaps really quite far. We'll probably come down to this level, and then buys will just happen. You'll see it break this trend line, and you'll just be looking for a position at that point to see if we can kind of get to some kind of decent take profit target. So interesting to see what happens on these pairs. which also kind of brings me to AUD JPY. Respects high time frame market structure really, really well, this pair, especially on the 4 hour. I just love the Australian dollar. It respects market structure so much, especially on the higher time frame. So we've kind of got this uptrend. Price seems to be a little bit exhausted, although, you know, I guess we're looking here realistically because we're going to go down to the hour for this. And then there's a potential entry if we break it, but we're just going to look to go down to the nearest area of market structure, which is going to be this level here. And you can kind of actually see this head and shoulders forming on this uptrend on AUD JPY. So if we break this level, price manages to kind of come down, and you know we've got this higher time frame trend line here, which price has been reacting off. It's been using it as a form of support. If we break both of those and we fall back into bearish market structure, which is kind of pushing it at the moment, then there'll be a nice trade there. Then we'll have a nice head and shoulders to be able to work off, targeting some really good lows, some strong areas of liquidity like down here, for example. But currently it is trending upwards, so we're just going to see if we can get the momentum switch on that. EURAUD, just ignore, absolutely nothing on it. In terms of USD, so I've been getting asked in terms of the USD trades, what do I do? Do I hold the position and stuff like that? Now it's kind of up to you. So USD CHF, obviously this trade that was posted ended up tapping stop, so you would have gone up to TP1 and then kind of come down. It would have tapped you in. You could have re-entered. It's up to you. Or, you know, maybe some people are placing their stops a little bit further than what I am, like 20 pips and stuff. But you could have re-entered. It came up, it wiped out this level of market structure up here, and now it's going to kind of, you know, now we're seeing it move to the downside. I wouldn't be looking to hold really any longer than this, because you want to see what happens at this level here. It's very consolidative, the CHF pairs, if you look across the board. There's nothing really too major that's happening on any of them. I've deleted like AUD CHF and NZD CHF because I don't bother with them. I don't really bother with Great British Pound CHF, although I can guarantee you it's probably the same thing. Okay, so it's actually this is actually the market structure is actually nicer on this pair, but you can see that buyers are weakening a lot actually. So there's going to be a big sell-off on this pair most likely, especially if you get market structure shift. In fact, this is actually nicer than probably most of the other CHF pairs at the moment, because we've got this nice strong uptrend, and now for the first time we're seeing sellers strengthen. Whereas we were getting this nice strong buy waves before, so actually I may be interested in this. Yeah, put this into my shorts folder. CAD CHF is just doing absolutely nothing. See what Euro CHF is doing. I gave up on this pair as well. Yeah, so the same thing, just sideways, big moves to the downside. And now it's just sideways, and in fact it's been this way for so long now. It's been sideways since August 2024. It's pretty much pointless on trading this pair. If we look, just clearing this up, but yeah, it's pretty much pointless trading this pair. So CHFs, as I say, USD CHF, just keep in mind that that take profit target, and I wouldn't really be looking for much out to go much further than that unless you kind of break that level. Now let's have a look at Great British Pound USD, performing literally just as completely as expected. So with Great British Pound USD, just to kind of briefly explain this trade, it's pretty simple. We had our high in September 2024. We had a massive downtrend. Price is now moving to the upside, and it rejected off this quite a few times, very, very strong rejections, of which I took some short positions. And, you know, when you're looking at a level, the things you want to take into account is how hard it's, how much it's being rejected. So right here, we can see this hard rejection. Price comes up, taps into it, just rejected straight away. So we know sellers are really, really interested. Prices actually came up again, and it's, you know, it's tapped into that level. It's just rejected it very, you know, again. So prices come down with, you know, had to grab some orders and grab some buys from like this kind of area here, and it's slowly been moving to the upside where it then consolidated around that level. And that's a really, really good, you know, that's really what you want to be paying attention to when you're trying to break a level. You want to be paying attention to the fact that it consolidates around it. When you get hard rejection on it, it means it's not ready. When you start seeing some kind of consolidation around it and you're not seeing that hard level of rejection, that's then when you're most likely going to get the break. And it was simply just a break and retest of this level. I have no doubt that this is actually going to go beyond this high here. It's a nice trade. It's a nice 7-hour trade. But I have no doubt that it's going to go beyond. You know, we're looking at coming up to potentially these highs here. This level of, you know, these highs. So, you know, potentially doubling that trade. So, yeah, really, really good stuff on Great British Pound USD. And that's kind of it for the positions at the moment. NZD, JPY, actually, there is also a potential short on. Now, just waiting on the market structure to shift a little bit. We've got a nice strong uptrend, and we just want to see some kind of market structure shift before we get into the short. But being really, really respectful of market structure, this pair. So, you know, definitely take this into account. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this for sure. But yeah, that's all the kind of positions explained. If you've got any questions, just put them in the Discord. Please like the video if you're watching it from the Discord group. It helps with the algorithm, especially as it's free and you guys are fucking printing money from the entries that I've been posting for you guys. I personally haven't. I've been picking the losers, but it is what it is. And yeah, if you're new here, just, you know, make sure you subscribe to the channel and stuff. It goes a long way for me. Cool. Thanks, guys. You have a good one.